Look, I know it's been a rough go as of late. We've complained a lot about comedies on this channel, but yeah, I think they did it. What's up, Flick fans? Still on vacation. Finally saw The Naked Gun after War of the Worlds. Thank God. Need a palate cleanser, but I'm going to take some time to talk about it. I need your thoughts down below. Did you like it? Did you laugh?
Well, we're waiting.
A voice in your head saying over and over, "Man, that was awesome."
So only one man has a particular set of skills to lead Police Squad and save the world. The son of Frank Drebin Sr., it's Frank Drebin Jr., doesn't really matter. It honestly doesn't matter that this connects to the other film, and if you really start to think about it, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And that's one of the many ongoing gags with this movie that doesn't make a lot of sense. If you approach a Naked Gun Legacy sequel hoping you're going to get the most introspective, original, and nuanced comedy you've ever seen, that's not the way to go about this movie.
You're lame!
And honestly, that was kind of my fear with a movie like this. Even if it was funny, I was worried some people wouldn't have that approach. But looking at the way other critics are talking about it, audiences across the board, I feel like everyone's in the right mindset, man. We just want a funny, really a funny comedy, first of all, because it's fewer and farther in between, it feels like, every year that we get a good comedy. Now this year, I've seen a couple that I've liked. Friendship, obviously one of them days was funny, but The Naked Gun is such a 70s, 80s throwback. I mean, it really does feel like it belongs in the original Naked Gun franchise, continuity aside, in terms of the jokes, the joke placement, how they go about the humor. It's perfect in the way that they approach it.
It was perfect.
And it's such a cliche statement, but I feel like this is the comedy everyone needs right now. We just need to walk into a theater, turn our brains off, and inject the stupidity into our veins. But not like War of the Worlds or Smurfs stupidity. I'm just talking comedy, okay? And this is a movie that I feel like a lot of people are going to laugh at. Now, if you're not a fan of the OG Naked Gun films, you probably won't like this. I don't feel like it's going to make you a fan of the franchise. And everyone's sense of humor is so drastically different. That being said, I'm looking at this Rotten Tomatoes score and I'm like, I can't believe this many people are on board with this type of comedy in 2025. I think that proves that it's been a while since we've gotten a great one like this. And not a comedy in general, just a very over-the-top satire, funny gag after funny gag, machine gun style of humor, one after another, to where even if all of the jokes don't work, and that is kind of the case with this movie, there are a couple of gags and moments that I've seen before, and even throwbacks hearkening to that original Naked Gun, gags that we saw in that movie. And to be honest, those are the ones that don't work as well as the new gags and funny bits. You got a lot of talented people working on and in this film, and so you're able to bring such a fresh approach with the jokes to where even if you're repeating gags that we've seen before, or a very similar type of joke, and we saw this in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. You know, the Austin Powers scene in the tent with the shadows. They do something very similar here, and so we've seen that gag in another franchise. But this movie is also playing on other franchises in general. And example, there is a sequence so reminiscent to Mission Impossible in this film, but they double and even triple down on a gag making fun of that, to where I found it to be, it's not even that it's funny at that point, because it was funny. And that was one of the gags that had me laughing out loud. But it was so well handled and like a meticulous comedic bit that you have to nail, and everyone involved with that scene has to have the perfect sense of humor, the perfect way to approach it and go about it. Like, it was so specific, but it worked. Especially if you're a fan of the Mission Impossible movies, you're going to laugh so hard. And I found myself doing that multiple times in the theater. You know, End of Watch, and just these other movies that Naked Gun looks at and says, it was kind of dumb, so let's do it here. The co-stars, supporting cast, Pamala Anderson, she is so talented, man. I've learned that over the last couple of years, some of her supporting roles, but this is one of my favorite supporting roles she's had ever. She is so freaking funny, on the level of Liam Neeson, and I was a little worried. You know, Liam Neeson's a funny guy. Say what you will about him. He's very serious, he can be stoic, he can be menacing, and he can be a badass. But in this movie, he's proving he has the comedic chops that we've seen him do in Ted, the Lego movie, like these little supporting roles, and now he gets to do what Leslie Nielsen did. And while it's very different in the way that he does it, it still has the same, or at least a similar type of comedic effect, and that's all you can ask for. And really, you don't want a full repeat of the original Naked Gun. You want something a little different that feels the same. Paul Walter Hauser's good. And here's the thing about the Naked Gun, and this is not, I'm not taking a shot at Happy Gilmore 2. You know what? Maybe I am. And that's a movie I didn't hate as much as other people. But what Happy Gilmore 2 was, it was cameo after cameo, guest stars, Easter eggs, to where at that point you're not as much focused on the comedy as you are just trying to bring as many people on screen as you possibly can. And then all of the story beats and the characters, it kind of gets lost within the shuffle. In this movie, you don't even have to care about the characters because even the movie itself doesn't take things remotely serious, but everyone's doing such a nice job, and it's not constantly shoehorning in cameos, needless, relentless, pointless. It doesn't do that. And while certain movies are everything comedy legacy sequels shouldn't be, I think of Dumb and Dumber 2, Zoolander 2, I could go on. There are rare occasions where you get everything a comedy legacy sequel should be. This is one of those rare occasions where it's just firing on all cylinders at all times. And you are just laughing so hard to where even if you miss certain bits and jokes and gags, you're going to pick up on the next three. And again, not every joke has to hit. If a comedy is 65-35, hopefully 70-30, 80-20, that's a major victory, then you're in good shape. And I would say this movie is 75 to 80% the joke's going to hit. Not every joke is going to hit everyone at all times. That's just, it's not how comedy works. But I'm not going to dock the movie for that because it's at least trying. It's not holding back. It's not saying, we don't want to offend this guy, girl, or group, because no. And it doesn't really shoot for the stars in that way, but it doesn't hold back on the stupidity at hand. And I don't even want to mention any because I don't want to spoil the experience for you. I will say a lot of it relies on the chemistry between Anderson and Neeson, though, and that was, you see one of those scenes in the trailer, but even that gag in the trailer is altered slightly, and then you just keep getting those moments between them, man. It was so good. You can tell the chemistry's there in real life and on screen. If you're looking for the most interesting story in the world with this unbeatable villain and the layers of that story, they're all coming together by the end, you're probably not going to get that here. The case that he's on and everything happening surrounding that, even the death that we see in the beginning, we don't really feel the emotional stakes of that, obviously, because they're all going to get undercut by gags. That's the whole point of the movie. And I have a feeling that's going to bother some people because there is very little connection to what Drebin is doing in this movie. And I understand that. It actually did kind of bug me at times because I'm thinking to myself, all right, we're spending 5 to 10 minutes on plot here with a couple of jokes when we should really be more focused on the jokes here because that's what the rest of the movie is doing. A little inconsistent that way. And so if we get a sequel, and I hope we do, I hope the next one is more consistent with the jokes, worried less about the plot, because there are times in this movie where it tries to actually give us a plot, and in reality, we don't really care about that.
We don't care. Let me tell you something. We don't care.
But what I needed from this movie, dumb, stupid, ridiculous, relentless, over-the-top humor. If you love satire, if you love the airplanes and naked guns of old, and you are a fan of those types of comedies, it feels 70s, 80s. Seth MacFarlane's producer here, he's got a little bit of that humor injected as well. And so this worked so well for me. I'm curious to see what you all think. If you enjoyed this video, this review, again, on vacation, trying to bring you all as much as I can, drop that like, share this video, go see this. A Naked Gun is everything a comedy should be. It's relentless with its approach, never apologizing for its ridiculous sense of humor or backing down from the joke. A fully aware satirical throwback that everyone needs to see in the theater. Neeson has always had the chops, but this is far and away his best comedic display. This is a comedy legacy sequel done right. Thanks again for watching. I will be back in my studio hopefully the next time you see me. Otherwise, keep watching, keep reviewing, leave your thoughts down below, and go see this in the theater because I want a sequel. I want to see Liam Neeson in his Speedo again, or whatever that was. Bye-bye.